NBA analyst, Iceberg Jim Jackson. All right, let's head to Oakland, where the defending champs got embarrassed on Christmas, losing by 26 to a Lakers team that was without LeBron James for most of the second half due to a groin strain. The Warriors have now lost 4 times at home by 20-plus points, 2 more than they suffered in Steve Kerr's first 4 seasons combined. Steph Curry talked about the humiliating loss after the game.
It's a tough night. So obviously in front of the national stage, Christmas Day, a lot of hype, playing the Lakers. We were looking forward to this opportunity to get out there and play a lot better and just laid an egg. So you can feel terrible about it leaving, the arena. Got to understand it's December in a decent spot. We got to get better, though. We know that we're not going to win a championship playing like we did tonight.
Funny, Kevin Durant talked about the toxic environment around LeBron James. Mm-hmm. And maybe the toxicity is actually in the Bay because they're not right. Mm-hmm. The Kevin Durant, Draymond Green dynamic, I think, has created a little, it's a fart in the room or whatever. I don't know. It's created something.
Excuse me, Miss Purdy. Excuse me.
There's some issue there with the Warriors that I just don't think there's going to be an easy, quick fix.
I think there is a quick fix, and it's not necessarily by those individual members. It's going to be by structure, by the dynamics of what the playoffs really are, which is a 7-game series. So think about it. We're betting on an outlier game like what we saw last night to happen 4 times? 5, 6, 7 times in 2 weeks from this team, shoot 40% from the field, 25% from 3. Draymond has more fouls than points. Okay, go to Vegas with that one. Bet on the Warriors that all those guys are going to play like that up to 7 times in 2 weeks, and it won't happen. And that's why I still think this team is in the same place. Now, let's admit the fart in the room. The fart in the room is a team that a few years ago won 73 games, came down to earth and realization that that didn't mean that much because they lost the championship that year. Then you start to realize why fight in games to the death when it's just a loss. A 3-point loss, 30-point loss, at the end of the day, does that really matter? They're still second in the West by 1 game. And they don't even have Boogie Cousins yet, man. Ring the alarm if you want to. I'm not listening to that noise.
The fart. I guess... Here, I said this before, the biggest thing they fight is complacency because it's so hard to be able to get up for each and every game, no matter how talented you are. So what I want to do is take a step back and look at the 97 Bulls, 98, and the 01-02 Lakers when they were on the back end of trying to three-peat. In November, the 97-98 Bulls, they were 9-6. In December of 01 and 02, the Lakers were 6-5. So right now we're living in this moment where Golden State is losing these games and we're like, oh, the earth is ending. Will they be able to win? But if we look at history, even the best teams have struggled at times after they've been successful because it's so hard to get up for each and every game. Now, the difference, I think, with these 2 teams is you had an outlier in the Michael Jordan that demanded so much more. Okay, that didn't allow it to spur on and keep going. So you knew that. Kobe Bryant, when he finally took over a little bit more of the leadership, Shaq was still there, but they demanded so much more and everybody respected that. I think on this particular team, it's really not an alpha male, even though Draymond may be the voice at some time, but it's really not that guy, that alpha male that demands so much more that you got to step up. So to me, it was not an indictment on Golden State, more so than history showing its face, but also how far the Lakers have come in regards to their growth as a young team. Because I don't think this game would have been completed if Rondo wasn't in the game. If it was Lonzo Ball, I don't think they hold on to the lead and end up winning. But with Rajon and the improvement of other players, I think it's more of a compliment to where this Laker team has come from.
It's hard for me to say that game last night said anything about the Lakers because LeBron missed such a big chunk of it. That's really something I'm just going to discard.
Why? Because they could have easily lost the lead.
I get it.
You see what I'm saying? To this Golden State team on that situation, they could have easily in that 3rd quarter succumbed to Golden State coming back.
And it got down to 2.
I got it. But there's never going to be 18, 20-minute stretch where LeBron's not on the court once he's healthy. So I'm not going to chalk. That game to me is more about the Warriors. And you just made the point about a Kobe, because at that time when they're trying to three-peat with Kobe, by that time Kobe had started pushing his weight around and taking it from Shaq. And again, you made the point, Draymond is that guy for the Golden State Warriors. But to me, Kevin Durant has cut his legs out from underneath him with their last dispute.
Well,
Draymond can't be that guy anymore on that team.
Well, Dre, it's not that dispute. That's the smoke. What the real is, Draymond is horrible this year by his own standard.
Right.
Draymond is shooting 40% from the field. Draymond was left open in that nasty position in NBA where you're wide open at three and they're just looking at you. No closeout, nothing. Shoot that air ball, please. He is shooting 22% from the three. He is not keeping that depth line up to being something that is deadly. And what's crazy is he used to be the guy that could just start it, right? But you know what? Players don't respond if you ain't balling like that. Then it becomes noise, and I think that's where he is.
Okay, Barcelos, but don't you think that the organization sided with Kevin Durant during that dispute? And Draymond's like, well, hold on. I'm the foundational piece. I'm the heart and soul backbone of this team. When I call a guy out, that's my role, and now I'm suspended? Again, you don't think Draymond's confidence isn't off and isn't like, they've undercut who I actually am?
Let's go back a little bit. When Kevin Durant came, the big question was, how would he impact and affect Clay and Steph's shooting? Nobody really talked about the impact he has on Draymond. And here's where it's at. You add a third ball handler on the court. Before, it was Draymond initiating a lot of the offense. He'd get it off the board, he would go. Now with Kevin Durant, that takes more of the responsibility out of Draymond's hands. He doesn't have the ball as much. He's not as effective in the half-court set or running, the fast break. So it's impacted his game. So his output is down across the line because he's not playing the same role he played before Kevin Durant.
I buy that more of game specific than I can't believe that he's jelly belly, like to the point where like, oh, Durant has cut my legs and organization sided with him. I'm just gonna airball now. Like I don't look at him with that mental makeup.
But it's mental. Marcellus, you know how it's such a thin line with the mental aspect of sports, okay? Now, you accustomed to playing a certain role. Then all of a sudden, game by game is getting eaten into. Now you got the outside voices going on. Your contract is coming up. All these things are going on, and now you're not really the same type of player. The impact on the defensive end is not the same. The rebounding is not the same. And the assists are not the same. It's the mental.
But the Lakers played a championship game yesterday to the point where, complacency and motivation for Golden State up and down. That was a Laker playoff game. And LeBron tried to play it off like, don't judge yourself against them. He went out there and pulled his groin in effort to try and win that game. Come on, y'all.
But
come on.
Don't not analyze this on a one-off.
Okay.
We said this is, I think, the fourth time they 20-point losses. If you just look at the at home, if you just look at their whole team and dynamic and what's been going on all year, I think Draymond's a changed person. Draymond used to be the dude he had final say in the locker room, and he don't anymore. That's a different role and a different mental game that he's playing that I don't think he's handling very well right now. Coming up, there's a recruiting war brewing over Anthony Davis. But should the NBA care what it's doing for their brand? We put on our thinking caps next.